I'm going next week. She's gonna love it, though.
Oh yeah, she's gonna be great until one of those like tigers or whatever is walking above you and just takes a dump on top of you.
That's a story, though. What's going on, everybody? Welcome.
You don't want her to like it.
Casting Talk. No, I wanted to cry. The Casting.com NBA live before lock Sunday night. Let's go, baby. Josh has got a cold one. He's doing IPAs. I'm doing typical Lofty stuff with a little Coors Light action here, but this is
no Bud Light.
You know what my thoughts on Bud Light are?
No, but I want to hear them.
I'm sure you will. Here's my thoughts. It's funny because it's just gonna like bother everybody, which is great, but it shouldn't because it's the right take. All right. So think about either side that people would be on for this Bud Light dispute, right?
Mm-hmm.
You could go out there right now, and you guys, generally speaking, know where I stand on most of this stuff. I think over the years, most of my opinions are relatively clear. But you can go out and you can get a case of Bud Light, like 36, for $10 in some places. If you were a Bud Light drinker or you'll drink light beer, you're an idiot not to just go buy it for $10. Maybe if the intended goal was, they tank the stock and all that stuff, yeah, fine, it already happened. But guess what? Me as a consumer, you're not getting breaks anywhere else. If you can get a $10 case of Bud Light, you go buy a bunch of them, Josh, and you say, all right, screw it. I just got it super cheap while everybody else was unwilling to do so. That really is the most rational take that you can have on this, but most people will not want to go along with it.
I'm not trying to get into a political debate while I drink my beers. Thank you very much. Good riddance.
I don't think anything I said was political. I think it's.
I don't mean about you. I can't be supporting Bud Light any longer.
Dr. Jimmy Brunga said, buy low. Exactly. That's all it is. It's just a buy low opportunity.
It would be the most popular beer in college for me if they have somehow cut the price.
Yeah. Ricky Beer said Shane Gillis makes Bud Light cool to drink. He's still drinking it. And by the way, Ricky, I got a picture with Matt McCusker yesterday. Went and saw him. We met him outside of Helium. It was really cool. Really cool. But happy to have you guys with us. Very happy to have you guys with us. We got one game today. Game 2 NBA Finals. We're going to dive into all of this. Dude, we got over 100 thumbs up already. Jeepers creepers. Look at that.
Damn. They must have saw I was on the show.
That's it. Yo, if you forgot, that's cool. It's Sunday. Listen, man, this is essentially hair of the dog at this point anyway. It's 7 p.m. So I get it. But if you forgot, take a single second to atone for your sins here, my friends. Wash yourselves clean on a Sunday. That can't be me saying that, just can't be good. Anyway, show some love. Hit that thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel, and let's get into it. What's up? What are you going to say?
I don't even know anymore. I'm really glad that we're not going live after this. There's no way I would have made the fourth quarter.
No. I just want to watch Mayor of Kingstown tonight, man.
I would rather, never mind. I won't say it.
It's so good. But anyway.
I'd rather drink a Bud Light.
Yeah. See, everybody's shitting on Bud Light because it's bad beer. Saying that. No, people, there's a legitimate boycott. If you've been under a rock, there is a legitimate Bud Light boycott right now. It's a thing. Like, this is clearly a thing.
Oh God. It's so ridiculous. People are so stupid.
And no, William.
There are plenty of reasons to not drink Bud Light, but what they print on the can is not one of them for me.
William, no, this is actually my first. This is my first, my friend.
Me too.
Last night was a lot more fun, but anyway. See, Mr. Sims said, quit wasting valuable time. This is not how you ask a question, man. We take a second and we get into the show. We've done this long enough to know how to get into the show. Come on.
His comment is stupid.
And all caps too.
Well, it's not even a question. I don't want to acknowledge a dumb question.
All right. So here we go. Let's get into it. We just hit 200 likes. I was just waiting to get to 200 likes, and then we're in business. That's all.
That's all.
200. That's a strong number out of the gate for a one-game slate on a Sunday night. Come on.
I mean, yeah, but it's you and me. Of course, we're getting those likes.
That's yeah. You know what? Pat ourselves on the back for a second. Over 1,000 people in here. Let's make it happen.
You're holding
baby.
yourself to the wrong standards, my man.
You're right.
I'm well aware what we're going to get when we get.
So you're saying the standard. You're saying I should be setting the bar higher.
Yeah, I'm honestly a little bit irritated that it's only 229.
Now it's 230, baby. 235. We're crushing. We're cruising.
230.
All right. So game one was.
Yeah.
I don't want to say it was how you expected it to go, but it kind of was how you expected it to go. This Denver team is a juggernaut right now. I don't want to say they're automatic because we've seen plenty of times. Like variance plays a role in basketball always. But Nikola Jokic can't be. Poor Cody Zeller. Did you see somebody tweeted? It was like Cody Zeller wandered out onto the court a while ago and the security guards still haven't noticed. It did feel that way. It did feel that way.
Yeah, I was hoping fucking Kevin Love would have wandered his ass out there, considering I had like 65% Kevin Love and he didn't step foot on the floor.
Man, poor Cody Zeller. I'm just watching, dude. And that one where it was, I think they actually called a blocking foul on Zeller, where Jokic gave like a bit of a push, but I didn't think it was anything bad, and Zeller just kind of flops his way to the ground. And man, he's not cut out for this series at all.
It's so weird. He's like the perfect example of how weird basketball is. Because when he like it's really crazy to think about. When he was at Indiana, he looked incredible. He was like athletic and moving around the floor like a normal person. He was the 4th overall pick in the draft. He looks like they found him at the local YMCA now. I don't know what happened. I don't know what he's been doing for the last decade. He looks like if I just had a growth spurt.
He does. He really does.
This dude was like a real dude while he was in college.
It just cracks me up, though, because people are like, man, Jokic doesn't look like a basketball player. And then you go, okay, have you seen Cody Zeller? Have you seen this guy? It's so
Here are the people picked immediately after Cody Zeller when the Bobcats took him. Yes, they were the Bobcats. Alex Len, Nerlens Noel, Ben McLemore, KCP. I mean, like, Zeller was real.
Yeah, it was real.
It's so stupid, man. He looks so unfunctional on a basketball court now. It's ridiculous.
And Jamal Murray, he's got we're just setting the table here because I want to get into everything for tonight's slate. His shot is so pure, man. Like that shot is just so nice every time. Even when it doesn't go in, you're like, yeah, it should have. You know?
He's great. I love watching him play in the playoffs. He's made for this.
He's absolutely made for this. Aaron Gordon shot out of a cannon in game one, and the entire Miami team was just, on life support from the jump. And I will say that anybody that doesn't think at all, anybody that doesn't think that oh no, Denver, they had too much rest. Stop it. Like, come on.
That's never been a thing ever.
Miami had to travel to Denver with 2 days rest after playing 7 and all of their guys 40 plus minutes per game. So I wanted to ask you, just going into this, and look, I know the answer is not, it's not like an easy answer. So, but do you see this whole series going the way that game 1 did? Because I think games 3 and 4, who knows? Maybe Miami comes out and they look decent today. I don't really have a firm thought process on this outside of Denver winning. I'd say if metaphorical gun to the head, Denver in 5.
I mean, I've obviously been heavy on Denver and been less heavy on Miami for the past couple weeks. Once again, I'm a game early with this Kevin Love nonsense, which we're going to get to, but that's neither here nor there. I don't know what Miami's going to bring to the table here, especially in Denver. Like, we're looking at a team that offensively, I don't know what Miami can do to put Denver's offense in check. And I just don't think that they can punish Denver's defense enough. So, I mean, I think there's a reason we see the line at 8.5 or whatever. Again, to me, I expect this to be, another solid Denver dub. I just find it really difficult for anybody rolling into Denver because of elevation. It's a massive, massive difference.
It's a huge difference, man. And Butler's going to have to step up. Butler seemed super lethargic last game, too. I mean, again, I'm not trying to play like Monday morning armchair quarterback, but he didn't look like himself. He came out kind of hot in the first quarter, and then he disappeared.
It felt like a really good day to not have Jimmy Butler as like basically a full fade.
Oh yeah, well we talked about that a ton.
Yeah, I mean I hit everything, dude. Aaron Gordon he was my most exposed captain. He went crazy in the first quarter. I was sitting pretty, and then Kevin Love just never showed up.
I'd shorted Jimmy Butler PRA, and that wasn't even a sweat. Early on, it didn't look good, and then he finished with like 27 or something on 41.5. So we'll get into a little bit of that later. Wait till you see what I want to start off talking about Kevin Love here, but wait till you see what Underdog's doing today with this payout booster. I actually went back a couple times and looked at it to make sure that it was right before talking about it on the show, because anytime $5 on a 5 leg card pays out $500, you have to make sure that that's accurate, and it is. So we'll get into that one in a second. Actually, let me do it now because there's plenty of people that might not be there, and I don't want to do it later. Give them time.
Yeah, give them time.
Yeah. All right. So Underdog Fantasy today. You guys have probably played best ball there. I do. Love their best ball format, their daily draft format. So today on their pick'em format, in their pick'em contest, they have a payout boost that is 100x. Now, first of all, that's insane. Like, you know what I was going to ask you? Would you rather have the free square, or because the limit on this is $5, but who cares? Because $5 nets you 500 if you hit all 5. It's on Nikola Jokic, 27.5 points, and you can take the over or the under. It doesn't matter. It is an efficient line, no doubt. But as long as you have Nikola Jokic payout booster in there, you don't 20x if you hit all 5 legs in your card. You 100x. So your $5 turns into $500. The link in the description that we have, and the one Jake can throw in the chat, that is not just the payout booster that you're getting, because anyone gets that today, but also first match deposit bonus, 100% up to $100. So if you put $100 in, you have $200. Shit, you put $10 in or $5 in, you're doubling that. Just play this tonight. Play this payout booster tonight. It's the best one I've seen, man. Would you rather have the free square or the 100x payout booster?
Got to be the 100x, right?
You would think so. I mean, because like the free square.
Well, I mean, like obviously, you can play more at the. Well, I don't know. What depends what their cap of free square is.
Usually the cap on free square is 20, 25.
Yeah, I would probably take the 100x.
I would take the 100x because the $5 you don't think about it. If you like, who cares? If if you lose it, okay, whatever. You're not losing sleep over that. You spend that money in your sleep.
Yeah,
that's why I would rather have it, because you throw it in there, you build out a card that you really like, and now $5 that would have paid out 100 is now paying out $500. That's insane, dude.
I'm asking this question for everybody else because I think they might have the same question. Is there any payout if you don't go perfect?
No. So
okay,
they do have Debonair. No, I'm not in Kensington, man. Not anymore, at least. They do have payout insurance at Underdog, but you can't do it with the 100x booster. And why would they allow? I mean, that they're not gonna. Of course not. That's insane. But you don't. But here's the thing, though. You don't have to go 5. You can. So the booster. Hold on. Let me pull this up. Jacob, can you go back so we can see what the actual multipliers are outside of just the 5x or the 5 play? So I'm like, 4 is 50, Josh. Ooh. So that's what I'm saying. You could play a $5 card and go 4, and you're 50xing. So you don't have to go 5 here if you don't want.
Yeah, I'd almost prefer the 4.
Yeah. It's sick. Do you have any plays that you would throw in there with Nikola Jokic?
Probably. Let's pull it up. Let's take a look. That's the play, right? We're going to give out the goods for today.
And then here's what we're going to do after this. We're going to talk about Kevin Love, number 1, because he's starting. We're going to break down all of the lineups that you have right now as far as the optimal. We're going to talk about some low-owned captain plays, potentially some cheap captain plays. What do we do with some of these 1K guys? We saw Haywood Highsmith last game was the optimal captain. That's not something that's going to happen often, but Miami is going to make some weird decisions. So we're getting into all of that. Plenty of time to do so. But if you're not at Underdog yet, the payout booster today is 100x. You just have to have Nikola Jokic in any card, in that card. If you want to do 4 or 5, doesn't matter. But 5 of 5 goes 100x. A $5 play turns into 500. It's better than a free square. Link in the description and in chat. Give me 1 or 2 plays that you like here.
I'm looking through them all right now. So in terms, they also have fantasy scores. And that's going to be like FanDuel scoring. So it's going to be 3 points for steals, 3 points for blocks, and you lose a full point for turnovers. I do like Bam Adebayo's over 37.15 fantasy points. Don't know why it's that, but I continue to see him as a guy that is going to play 40 minutes. He's a fantasy point per minute guy. I think it's hard if you assume he's playing. Look, if you just look at it, 37.15. You can't assume he's less than a fantasy point per minute guy. So if you think that Bam Adebayo is going to play more than 37 minutes, you should like the over for the Bam 37 fantasy point play.
Josh, you can take the Josh Gillum. You can take the under. You don't. That's the cool thing about this payout. You don't have to take the over. You can take the under. I'm going Haywood Highsmith under a half an assist. I like that today, dude, because he could still play minutes and not finish with a single assist.
I have him at 0.6, so it's certainly close.
It is, but I also wouldn't be surprised if his minutes are just cut. I'm not convinced that you're going to see a lot of minutes for Highsmith. Our Pick'em Pro Tool has this as one of the best spots on the day as well. 55% X win, 55% win expected win percentage. That's second highest really, alongside Butler over assists, Jokic over assists, Murray under 5 rebounds. A lot of good stuff out there. And, you know, I was heavy on Jamal Murray over 5.5 assists last game. That was just easy work.
Yeah.
We still have over 6.5 assists is a good spot. And I'll tell you this much, go back and look at that game. Look at where the assist came from in that game in the starting lineup. It was literally I shouldn't say literally, almost entirely Jokic and Jamal Murray. Outside of that, there was no one doing even a little bit of playmaking. So that's a spot that I'll get to as well. Either way, build up. You can build this luck card with your eyes closed, and it doesn't matter. Like, because you're $5 is the max, but $5 in the 500. Use the Jokic prop.
I like an under on one of Max Strus or Duncan Robinson. I'm not in any position to tell you which one it is. But based on the starting lineup now, with Love moving back into the starting lineup, you know you're getting Caleb Martin then off the bench. If Love is starting, they're either willing to go to no center as a backup, which we don't know, or they're still going to go to Cody Zeller as the backup 5, or potentially Love for like crazy minutes, but that's besides the point. I think if they want to free up minutes for Haywood Highsmith at this point, now that you're putting Love in, they have to come from one of Strus or Robinson. It feels like it would be Robinson, but Robinson could shoot his way into those minutes. But if you think that Haywood Highsmith is going to continue to be a part of this rotation, I do. Then the only place that these minutes can really come from is one of Strus or Robinson.
Okay. How many minutes? And by the way, link in the description and in chat, guys. You still have 40 minutes to get one of these in. Shit, throw $5 in. I mean, I would max out the first match deposit bonus because you always want to take advantage of every promo you get. But even if you don't have it, just get a lineup in there today. Give yourself a shot at 100xing. How many minutes are you giving to Caleb Martin today?
I went 28.
And
no confidence in that. Luckily, he's 7,200 on DraftKings, so I don't give a shit.
How many are you giving the Highsmith?
I went 12.
Okay, so when you said that you thought it's still part of the rotation, gotcha. 12 makes sense, but you're not projecting him anywhere close to what we saw last game.
I don't know how you can. Like, they don't want Haywood Highsmith to be out there ahead of Caleb Martin. Like, there's no way that's just happening. So it's got to be one of the 2 shooting guards. The first guy up is going to be Duncan Robinson in that scenario, because you have to remove somebody. Once Kevin Love moves into that starting lineup, you know Martin's not going anywhere. That's where you have to start having this conversation of where do the extra minutes come from? It's probably Duncan Robinson. It can be Cody Zeller. I think it's live that they don't go to Cody Zeller at all. That when Bam is off the floor, or let me be more specific. They're going to do their best to match Bam to Jokic. When Jokic is off the floor, I assume that's when we see Bam leave the floor. They might just go small. If the opposite side of Denver is Jeff Green, then they'll probably go to whatever they can go to.
Yeah, listen, Zeller was brutal last game. It's just not something that's viable right now. Now, maybe he still plays a few minutes. I mean, look, that wouldn't be shocking if he plays a few minutes, but and that's all he really played last game was 7.5, but it was 7.5 minutes where I just kind of grimaced the entire time I was watching it. All right. So if we're talking about just ownership for a slate like tonight, I can't help but think that we need to actually start the conversation off with twofold, right? Nikola Jokic, what do we do with him? Some jerk off just tweeted us, how did Nikola Jokic captain work out last game? Like, dude, we said it a million times. He had a, 25% chance of being optimal. That's still 75% chance that he isn't.
This fucking idiot tweeted it at us 3 times.
Yeah, I don't know what you're trying to prove, dude. I don't know. I don't know what you're trying to prove there. The whole idea of like, no, don't play Jokic a cat. I can't. How many times did we? It's not even worth getting into. It's really not.
It's so stupid. And like, he obviously had an exceptional game that you had to have and was better than Jimmy Butler, which was the entire message of everything that we did for game 1.
Yeah, Jimmy Butler was terrible in that game, which was the entire point. Like, you can't play Butler.
I laid it out very specifically that Nikola Jokic was not the optimal captain 75% of the time. We talked through how you would take the field over Nikola Jokic. But if your prize picks for you, you're probably a moron. So,
if somebody had asked us that day, who should I play captain in a small field single entry contest? Like,
right.
Jokic is the clear best option in a spot like that. I'm not surprised he's getting. Let's not rewrite history and memory hole this. He was basically the same price as Jimmy Butler last game. Yeah. See how they've made some adjustments there? He's 14.8 and he's still 30. We still have him in our ownership projection, 31.5% ownership today. What are we doing with Nikola Jokic?
I mean, you're playing him in basically everything. I'm lighter than the public at captain, but I don't look. 14.8 is that's some kind of price tag today. He's in 97% of my lineups. I'm not trying to get too cute here. Look, is he out of the optimal 20% of the time? Yep, he is. And like, if Miami wins this game, you probably assume that Jimmy Butler had a good one and that he can get out in front of Jokic. You're going to have a tough time having them both, barring a cheap dude going insane. I'm going to Jokic. I don't see a way around it. They're 8.5-point favorites for a reason. He's projected for more fantasy points than Butler by, I don't know, call it 15 to 20. That's insane to me. There's not a big enough gap in price. Play Jokic as much as you can. If you like him at captain, go for it. I have more at utility than captain. I'm not in any position to tell you different. He's the clear best play today.
Yep. Justin said, how do you get the 100x though? You got to pick 5 things all Jokic ? Just to throw. No, as long as we're talking underdog, as long as Jokic is in the card, any of your other 4 plays or whatever you want them to be, they don't even have to be basketball. Just Jokic, the payout boost is on Jokic, right? Anything else can be whatever you want. It's just like, you'll see it. You could play 4 without him and there's no boost. Throw that in there and then you'll see the boost. That's all. You could do 2. And one of them is Jokic, the other doesn't matter. So no, you don't have to have all things Jokic. Definitely not. They would not, that lineup would not be submitted. Hey, how about Bam last game? There was a lot of vitriol being spewed about Bam in chat. And before you virtually castrate them, let me just say, I can understand why some people weren't happy with Bam. He had some pretty awful games, right? Like I get that, but recency bias is a thing. Bam came out. It's funny because Bam defensively was not great at all. And offensively, he was excellent, which is the exact opposite of we saw in game 7 against the Boston Celtics. Bam had 26, 13, and 5, played 40 minutes in that game. He's getting almost 20% at captain today.
I mean, it's a good spot for Bam. I have, much like Jokic, I have a little bit less at captain and way more at utility. He's my most exposed Heat guy, but I'm basically neutral on him. Look, 8,800 is just not the right price tag for him. He has to be out there. They don't have a choice. If Bam Adebayo is not on the floor, the Nuggets win this game by 70. Like, they don't have the opportunity to slow it. No one's slowing it down. He's the only line of defense that they have. So I love getting to Bam. The price tag is fantastic. In terms of captain, 20% feels healthy. I think it's easier for somebody else to sneak in at that number. I had him coming out of my optimal a little bit lower than that 20. I had him at about 17. And that's enough to like knock him back for me in my best lineups. But he's the second best play from Miami today.
Who's the best play for Miami?
It's Kevin Love. It's got to be Kevin Love.
There we go. Let's get into it. Yeah, $2,000.
Look, if he's starting, you have to assume he's getting at least 2 rotations like he did before. He's going to play the first quarter, he's going to play the third quarter, and then they're going to be done. So at the minimum, you're giving him 12 minutes.
Possibly more.
He could play 30 minutes today.
I was going to say possibly more if he's playing well. Or it just goes to hell in a handbasket, Josh, in the first quarter, and they're down by a ton, and Spoelstra's like, all right, I made a mistake. But it's also possible that Kevin Love plays well, and he gets minutes in the second and fourth quarter as well.
Spoelstra said in an interview, and this really makes me want to just fly to Denver right now and punch him in the face. Spoelstra said his intention was to play Love in game 1, blames his decision-making for not. You know, he controls his own decision-making, right? If his intention was to play Kevin Love in game 1, just play him, dude. You're the one making that call.
I love how coaches remember the times where I forget what coach it was. You're going to remember this, though. Where he goes,
I got him. My memory is terrible.
No, you'll remember the instance. You might not remember the coach and the player, but it was a bench player, and all of us were kind of just clamoring for more minutes. And he's like, yeah, you know, he has definitely earned more playing time, and he deserves a lot more playing time. Saying this as like you or me as an outsider looking at
it happens all the time with these idiots.
Never gave him more playing time. He's like, but hey, this guy deserves it. And it was like, you make the call, pal. But listen. Hey, this guy, I'm telling you right now, if anyone deserves more playing time, it's him. And then he's a DNP-CD the next day. Yeah. It's like, what's going on here?
So, like, if we're talking Love, I gave him 15 minutes. I think 12 at a minimum is probably the lowest you can go now that we know that he's starting. And he's 2K. Like, there's no further discussion that needs to be had. There's no digging into like your thoughts on the matchup or whatever you want to whatever you want to say about this is meaningless. Knowing that Kevin Love is starting is the only thing that matters. He is very clearly the best value play that you can get to because Nikola Jokic is $25 million or whatever it is in this DraftKings salary cap. Kevin Love naturally gets that combo. The amount of Jokic plus Love lineups today going to be a pretty monstrous number. And I don't know how you avoid it. At the very least, I don't know how you avoid Love. It is really, really difficult for him to fail. And it's really difficult for me to see who is the better option than him unless this game becomes a blowout. Because otherwise, like, there are no cheap dudes to unlock anywhere else, really. And Kevin Love at 2K just doesn't need a lot to be able to be in that optimal lineup.
No. He really doesn't. Would you captain him?
Yeah, I would. He's my third most exposed captain.
All right. And at what exposure?
16. We're projecting 5. I got him in 60% of lineups. I honestly thought I was going to have him in 100. We'll see what happens over the next 20 minutes.
You're around 3x the field at captain on Love.
Yeah. Assuming that holds. And look, I'm willing to take that shot at 2K. So look, transition was really difficult in game 1 for both teams. Both teams sold out defensively to stop transition plays. Miami had a 25th percentile offensive rebounding rate. So rebounding didn't come very naturally. You're going to get transition passes and rebounding from Kevin Love. He needs to hold up enough on Jokic's first action to be able to stay out there and soak up more playing time. And maybe he does. We saw very clearly there was not enough size on the floor for Miami, and they were getting bullied around the floor. Kevin Love is not going to get bullied around the floor by Aaron Gordon or Michael Porter Jr. or whoever else you want to add. If he can resist Jokic's first move towards the basket, or at least slow down Murray to a degree, like, he's going to get beat like a drum. I want to be very clear here. But you're going to
All right.
get Bam. I assume we're getting Kevin Love starting on Jokic so that Bam can start on Aaron Gordon and help off of the beating that Kevin Love takes in a pick and roll.
So a lot of showdowns.
This becomes a shooter's game then. It's KCP, it's MPJ. It's whatever we get in the third pass.
So a lot of showdown shows you'll listen to, you know, they'll give you this kind of this basic nonsense, like go through each player. Yeah, he's playing solid 36 minutes in his last game, 21% usage rate, not bad. Come on. That's not going to help you guys. Here's what we're going to do, Josh. I want to know, in these Kevin Love lineups, in these Kevin Love captain lineups, for almost 1,800 people, we better hit 500 thumbs up today. We better hit 500 likes. We got almost 1,800 people on a Sunday night. Come on. Okay.
Come on.
Hold on. Let me stay on track. In your Kevin Love captain lineups,
yes,
what do the actual lineups look like? Because you're opening up a ton. You're opening up the floodgates from a salary perspective.
Yeah, I mean, you get whatever you want. You get Jokic as much as you want. You get Butler if you want it. You get Jokic plus Butler. You can get Jokic plus Butler plus Bam if you want to go that direction. You get free reign to roster whatever you want if you go to Kevin Love a captain.
And thanks, Alex Henderson. Appreciate you, man. We try and keep these shows as interesting and hopefully as informative as possible when we're breaking down one game.
Yeah.
Most people in here understand. They're like, hey, guys, they're doing one game. They have to, inject some other stuff. And other people are like, hey, asshole, talk about the slate at 7:01. Appreciate you, Alex.
Why don't you have any thoughts on Ish Smith playing today? Okay.
Who has played
I like my life.
Has played on essentially every basketball team. What do you think is the most popular lineup with Kevin Love captain? Because that's more important than anything else. Are there ways to go Kevin Love? There are, actually. I'm not saying are. I know there are ways to go Kevin Love captain and still get unique. Like, this is a massive, massive contest. You can't just go Kevin Love captain, jam in all the expensive players in a contest with 60,000 entries and just assume that that's going to be enough if you're not looking to chop, right? So what do you think are some good alternatives there with Kevin Love captain still making good lineups, right? Because there's a difference between contrarian and stupid. What are we looking at?
I'm just looking through it now. Caleb Martin's not the answer, that's for sure. Getting Duncan Robinson or Max Strus right is going to help you a lot in terms of limiting any sort of major major ownership. Kyle Lowry over Gabe Vincent, that type of thing, where Vincent's 47% owned, Kyle Lowry's 30%. Like, those little trims where, you're not surprised at all if Kyle Lowry beats Gabe Vincent today. That would not be shocking in any way. Or if you get who would be a good example? I don't really have another obvious dude, even just looking at this stuff. I think Lowry over Vincent is one that cleans it up. Robinson over Strus is one that sort of cleans it up a little bit. Going to another relatively cheap dude and just eating salary, I think, is potentially viable. If you think Christian Brown gets blowout run or something along those lines, I think you can sneak in that way. They're not the most pretty lineups, honestly. You're pot committing yourself. If you go to a Kevin Love captain lineup, you're pot committing yourself to 3 of the 4 of Jokic, Murray, Bam, and Butler, because you just have an overwhelming amount of salary at that point.
Right. Are you going to be playing lineups with Love that are maxing it out at 50K? I'm just curious to get a feel here for what these lineups look like, right? Because we know how popular, Kevin Love we have him at 6% around captain.
Yeah.
That's still not nothing. Just knowing, you and I've done enough showdown, whether it's football, basketball, whatever, to know that 6% captain on a dirt cheap player isn't really low when you consider how many of those lineups are going to look identical because you're getting all of that salary.
I have 4 lineups at 50K with Love at captain. I have 24 total Kevin Love captain lineups. Okay.
Who else are you going to at captain outside of the usual suspects, the obvious guys? Like how much Murray, Porter, Butler, now that his price has come down? I mean, his price hasn't come down a lot. It's Nikola Jokic's price has come up a lot, as it should have.
It looks a lot like it did for me in game one. I got a lot of Aaron Gordon at captain again, 6,400. I thought that went well for him. I actually sort of like that more this time than I did last time. I think it's better for him. Josh Gillum had mentioned like that Aaron Gordon wasn't going to get those same looks. I actually think that he will. The biggest thing for Aaron Gordon during that first quarter of game one was the cross matches that he was getting. He was putting Gabe Vincent in the basket on, to a degree, Caleb Martin, but he's going to be beating Kevin Love down the floor in these situations. So someone else is likely to be picking up Gordon, especially because I don't expect Kevin Love to be guarding Aaron Gordon. On some possessions, sure, but my first assumption is that Love is going to be starting on Jokic so that Bam can start on Gordon, at which point and I assume Bam is going to be the secondary help on any shot that's going up. I think Aaron Gordon's still going to be able to leak out and get some matches on whoever's left first down the floor. I think they want him to establish that sort of positioning. So I do like the idea of going to Aaron Gordon again. He got real quiet after that first quarter, but it had been enough. But at 6,400, I like that price tag. He's a guy that I like getting to a captain at minimal ownership. But everybody else, it's Murray, it's Jokic, it's Bam, Kevin Love, who I already mentioned, and then Gabe Vincent at 5,400. That is the stance that I'm taking. That one, I said it in game one. That makes me nervous because I think they can go to Lowry because I think Gabe Vincent might be a little bit too small for the ask. It showed a little bit in game one. Maybe they go to the strength of Lowry a little bit more here. I don't know if they do, but for right now, I still have Vincent. And considering I've been a game early for so much of this shit at this point in time, if I tried to go to Lowry now, Gabe Vincent's playing 44 minutes today.
Exactly. Yeah, Lowry played a lot in that second half, man. He played like 16 minutes straight to essentially close out the game before they pulled the starters with 30 seconds left.
Yeah.
Jamal Murray played over 44 minutes in that game.
Sure did.
Brief rests at the end of the first and third quarter while Nikola Jokic stayed on the floor. I mean, the bench here, Christian Braun played 8 minutes, was largely ineffective. Green played 11. Bruce Brown, too, only played 21 minutes. Bruce Brown. We had seen him play, we saw him play a decent amount in that Lakers series. Really, throughout the postseason, he was getting good minutes. Game one, man, that was not the case at all. I mean, it's funny to look at this and think that, Mike Malone was the guy that said, we're going to run these. It's kind of smart, too. Mike Malone, knowing that these guys were off for almost 10 days, just going, listen, you guys are fresh. Go out, play as many minutes as you can for the starters.
I mean, well, they were kicking the shit out of them. So it's just like, it's really hard to want to do other stuff other than just let those guys
keep your foot on the gas. Sure.
Like Miami had a 6-0 run in the first half. It's the only legitimate run they had. Nuggets went 8-2, 6-0, 9-0, and 5-0 to close out the half. Like, they just constantly kept kicking the shit out of Miami. So not that like Bruce Brown is a bench guy. Like, he could very easily just be in KCP's spot and no one would ever notice. But yeah, you're just like not going to play those guys as many minutes as you would expect in a game like that because there's just no benefit for it. And then they came out in the third quarter and kicked the shit out of them again. Like, it was never a game where you needed to start making your tweaks. Eric Spoelstra was the guy that needed to like make his first change.
Yeah, it was a beating. They had made some inroads late in that game, and maybe that's why guys like Lowry stayed out there. That's what's tough about Miami, because if you go on a bit of a run, at one point they cut it to like 9 or 10 points, and then fell back, whatever. But at one point they cut it to 9 or 10 points, and Lowry was playing pretty solid basketball. A bunch of these guys were. Haywood Highsmith, Haywood Highsmith was drilling shots, dude. He was playing great. But I can't look at any of that and go, yeah, I expect the exact same thing to happen tonight. Highsmith playing 16 of the final, 16 and a half minutes of that game. It's just not a realistic expectation at all. He had 12 points in the fourth quarter, Josh. He was fantastic. But
he was great. He was absolutely great.
What are some of your best lineups looking like right now?
I bet the people that had Highsmith, man, were just like, holy shit, he's going to stay out there and I'm going to have a chance to win the Millie.
Yeah, how could he not? How could you not keep him out there? Especially given that Caleb Martin had an awful game. On Sleeper, hit the free square was Caleb Martin over a half a point. And until late in the third quarter, he still had 0 points. Never came back from that game either. It was very plausible that Caleb Martin finished with 0 points in that game. He hit one shot.
I was just hoping that it wasn't him and that they were going to go to Love at the second half. I was in first, second, and not sole, but I had first, second, and third at halftime. And I was just like, yo, if Love gets in, I'm sitting in great shape. And I had so many options because I had all of the Aaron Gordon. I had Jokic. I didn't have Butler. I didn't have Martin. Everything that had happened in the first half was great. I just needed them to go to Love. And I was like, okay, they're getting beat up real bad here. This is the spot where you give Kevin Love a rotation or he's the backup center or whatever. Just play six. No, didn't matter. Didn't matter at all.
Let me hit on a few super chats. Windy City. And Jacob, if you can find that super chat from earlier, I missed it. I generally don't answer them really early in the show. Porter Robinson or Gordon Vincent, Josh?
Do that again. Porter Robinson?
Michael Porter Jr., Duncan Robinson, or Gordon and Gabe Vincent? Aaron Gordon.
Gordon Vincent, not close.
Okay. James Magruder, Highsmith or Love for captain / utility? So I guess he's just saying
Love.
Okay.
It's got to be Love. Look, Love is starting. You can't compare these guys. Haywood Highsmith is 3,200 now. They're not even comparable.
Yeah, absolutely. And Malcolm asks, who are we playing at star on FanDuel? Well, I mean, Bam, Butler. FanDuel's just so much different for Showdown.
I'm pulling mine up now to see what I have, who I have at the top of star.
Yeah, and while you do, by the way, for any of you guys who jumped in late, I mentioned it earlier. Underdog has the most insane payout boost going on right now. You play over or under, higher or lower, as they call it, on Jokic, 27.5 points, over or under, doesn't matter. Put it into any card, and as you build that out, it's 100x payout boost, meaning that if you were to play 5 legs in that, you 100x. $5 turns into $500 with having Jokic in your card. It is ridiculous. Even if you were to go 4 legs on a card, it's a 50x. It's only a $5 max entry, which it should be. They can't just be like, yeah, play 100 on this. But at $5, it is the best. It's legitimately the best $5 you'll ever play on anything. Link in the description and in chat. If you use that link, you're also getting 100% first match deposit bonus up to $100. And our Pick'em Pro tool, as you guys have asked about many times in the past, has Underdog MLB and Underdog NBA. All of the best plays for Underdog across the board, NBA and MLB, half off for your first month on everything for our Stochastic Pick'em Pro tool. You want to really get an edge and have a companion piece here, a tool that is going to give you all of the best plays, save you hours every day finding the best plays just by simply sorting by win percentage on all of these, since there's no juice on either side. Pick'em Pro tool is by far the best one you're going to find. You're getting half off for the first month. It has Underdog and all of the other major pick'em sites as well. So it's not just Underdog. Check that out. I think you'll love it. I use BetPro every day for DraftKings, FanDuel, Caesars, MGM. If you're in non-legal betting states, but you've got all these pick'em sites, Pick'em Pro. It's the best tool you're going to find if you're playing on these and you're looking to actually win money consistently. So link in the description. All right, what do you got for me?
The hell were we doing? FanDuel Pro. Got it. Yeah. Star, actually. Star. It's been a day, man. Okay, I'll be honest. I think it's very hard to not want to go to the big 4. 95% of my exposure would go to one of Butler, Murray, Bam, or Jokic in that order. I think Butler is your best option. I think Murray and Bam are comparable. Jokic is interesting if you want to get real weird and try to predict who's going to be a higher overall scorer than Nikola Jokic. It's not a journey that I want to go on, but you're going to be not duped if you do.
Justin Wilson. Okay, that 100x booster just suckered me. Yeah, dude, it's of course it's a good boost.
As it should.
All right, so here's what I want to do. We got about 12 minutes to go. And as always, appreciate you guys hanging with us on a Sunday night. I'm sure there's other stuff you could be doing, but you're hanging with us. We still have holding 1,800 people here. So don't think that goes overlooked at all. It doesn't. Miami is an 8-point dog. I'm just looking through the rest of this going, who haven't we talked about that we need to talk about? You have Kevin Love. What I want to know is how does he impact lineup builds when you and I have for all postseason talked about, the 1K guys can win you tournaments even if they put up zeros. How much different does that make it today, given that Kevin Love is starting and he's not the bare minimum, but he's damn close?
It's to me, it's a really important distinction now because it really does change up the construction on DraftKings. I'm still getting to a 1K punt. I'm using Peyton Watson as my guy on the off chance that he can show up if Denver smashes here. But I am still going to the 1K punt. If you want to go to Zeller at 1,200, I think that is also a viable option, although I'm a little nervous if he plays or not. And he's going to get ownership. But in non-Kevin Love lineups, I think you're very, very live to go to a 1K punt that potentially has a zero. Like if Love busts, then a 1K zero is very live for a like Jokic plus Butler type lineup.
Butler looks a lot easier to get to now than he did before, but the problem is that Jokic is also more expensive than he was in game one.
Yeah, like I still am light on Jimmy Butler. I have 24% right now. I just don't see it. Like he continues to not be priced correctly. This price is incorrect. You either need to price Jokic more, which you're obviously not doing, or you got to project him. You got to put him way lower. Like the gap between Jimmy Butler, I think Adam said it. The gap between Jimmy Butler and Jamal Murray is not big in fantasy, if at all. And that's really what we're talking about. Like I got Butler at 50.7 fantasy points. I got Jamal Murray at 48. I got Jokic at 68. Like, we're not talking about the same shit. So unless they fix this Butler price, you're not going to be happy going to Butler. Can he go out there and have a big day and be a guy that you need to get to? Yeah, probably. But if Jokic has a day higher than his median projection, you could box out Butler even if he does play well.
Are there any other 1K players that are viable today? Just given this conversation that we're having, because this is the important stuff, right? We're 9 minutes till lock. Are there any other guys that you're going to like? How much Christian Brown are you going to have? How much Zeller are you going to have? Are there any of these guys that you're getting over the field on or around the field?
I've got 2% of Zeller. I'm nervous he doesn't play at all. If Cody Zeller plays, I'm really nervous about any exposure to Duncan Robinson or Max Strus. Christian Brown, I have 12% of. I assume he's going to get at least a rotation today. He's 1,400. If a couple shots go in, that's great. If he beats Kevin Love, that starts to become really interesting. If you can make Brown lineups that don't have Kevin Love, that's a way to take a 59% owned guy and turn that into 18%. So I kind of like that pivot a little bit. But no, I mean, it's slim pickings at the bottom. Like Jeff Green doesn't look amazing. I do have him, but he's 2,400, so he's not like a total freebie. Here's a good thing to describe. Kevin Love is 2K. Jeff Green is 2,400. Kevin Love is a better per minute guy for sure. They're probably playing somewhere in a similar amount of minutes. There's no reason Jeff Green can't play more than Kevin Love today. You know, if Kevin Love goes 7-7, there's no reason that Jeff Green can't go 8-8 for 16. Jeff Green's 12.5% owned and Kevin Love is 59. That is a spot where I think that you can get a little bit of additional leeway. I don't think Jeff Green looked great in game one, and maybe they don't want to go there, but like at that ownership number, at his price tag, as a true pivot to Kevin Love, it starts to become a little bit more interesting.
David Porter said, dude, you ain't even mentioning Highsmith. He played 23 minutes last game. No, we've talked, I don't know, maybe you're referring to someone in chat. We've talked a lot about
Why
Highsmith.
would we? He's 3,200 now. He's 9% owned.
But we've also talked a lot about him. We've discussed.
And he's not starting. He could just as easily not play.
Yeah. I mean, he went on a heater late in that game. Listen, that doesn't mean that he doesn't get a rotation in the first half and start playing really well.
Right. For sure.
But that's I mean, that's the whole point of anyone tuning into the show. Josh and I wouldn't be talking about this otherwise if there weren't actually some question. Well, we'd have to. But the fact that there are question marks makes this significant. And Miami's rotation has a lot of uncertainty right now.
Like if he were still free, it'd be a different story. He's $600 cheaper than Duncan Robinson. He's $1,200 more expensive than Kevin Love, who is starting. Like, I don't even have Highsmith projected for more fantasy points than Jeff Green. Is he interesting? I guess. But now you're just projecting a guy who got run because of an ass beating, who's still not starting, getting enough minutes to pay off 3,200. Like, I think he's 9% owned for a reason.
All right, Michael Bernier. Thanks for the super chat as always, brother, or Bernier, as we like to say. Don't have much time. Love you guys. You too, man. Appreciate you. How about Highsmith, the captain? Well, we talked about that. Not a great captain at that price. If I don't come back, I'm in heaven waiting for you. Geez,
I will certainly not be seeing you there. For two reasons. One, I am not going to have the secret password to get in, and two, that's not a place.
See, why do you got to go there and just at the end of a show? Why you got to do that, man? Why you got to do that?
I'm just saying, it's not.
What Josh is saying is he'll be drinking Bud Light in hell. B sent a super chat. Love over Hightower on FanDuel utility.
Yeah.
Okay. And appreciate it, Jacob. I know there were some older ones. Michael said he sent a couple. I only see the one. We may have mentioned another one already. Luke Stone super chat. Thanks, Luke. Murray and Robinson or Butler and Green? Murray and Robinson or Butler and Green?
Butler and Green. It's close. I'm just, because of the way that the lineup's set up now, I'm nervous about Duncan Robinson.
Michael just sent another one. Said, I sent 3 super chats. If you replied, I missed them. Send the other ones that I didn't get to or may not have gotten to that you didn't hear. And yeah, just let me know. Let me know.
Yeah, just send them as regular messages, by the way. Don't send them again as super chats.
Yeah, exactly. Don't. Yeah,
we'll see it.
Send them as a $30 super chat. No, send them as messages, and
you need to add them all together, brother.
Hey, what's your optimal lineup right now on DraftKings?
I didn't think you meant draft day.
No, fan throwdown. That was the thing.
Nikola Jokic captain, Bam Adebayo, Aaron Gordon, Gabe Vincent, Kyle Lowry, Kevin Love.
One more time.
Jokic captain, Bam, Gordon, Vincent, Lowry, Love.
Okay.
Yeah. Obviously not playing that bad boy.
There was a site called Frafty as well.
No, that's a made-up name.
No, that's real. What are you trying to tell me? That's like heaven?
Comparable.
I don't know why you got to go there, man. You're always trying to sow divide amongst the people. I don't like it.
I guess I hope it is. I mean, no, I actually don't.
Why?
One, I don't know if I'm going to be allowed to go. I assume that I am. Like, if we're talking about a true cutoff, I don't know where that line is drawn, but I'm certainly not a bad person. I may be a non-believer, but I'm not like harming others. There's a giant list of people long before me that don't get to go in.
Right. You're not John Wayne Gacy.
Not yet.
Yeah,
but I don't know. It'd be cool if it existed.
Remind me one day when we have the time to give you my thoughts on serial killers. This will blow some minds. People are going to go, yeah, Laffy's lost it. And then ultimately they'll grow older.
Give me the cliff notes.
They'll grow wiser and they'll go, you know what? This guy was on to something. Nicholas, you guys are awesome with a super chat. Thanks, brother. Appreciate you, man. Thanks for hanging out, guys. Malcolm, optimal. Oh, all right. Did you run anything on FanDuel yet, Malcolm?
No, I have no idea.
But it's good. The optimal is going to have Jokic at captain, then it's going to have one of Bam, Murray, or Butler at the MVP, and then go ahead.
It's Jokic MVP, Bam. I mean, I could approximate it. Give me 1 second. So I still have my odds up. It's got to be Jokic at MVP. It's got to be Butler at star. For me, it's probably Aaron Gordon at pro. I don't know, like KCP, Kyle Lowry. I don't know if that works for salary, but I can name a couple other utility plays that work. But it's Jokic MVP, Butler star, and either Aaron Gordon or Michael Porter Jr. at pro. Probably Gordon because he's cheaper, but there's not much else after that bad boy.
Spencer told us to start a podcast.
Maybe, man. Maybe. Wink.
We have talked about it. We have talked about it. You guys would have to listen, though. That's the thing. You'd have to listen. Michael Bernier said, Josh, I'm praying for you with a super chat.
By the way, who's allowed to get into heaven? What religion is that specifically? Is it all of like Christianity?
So here's my thoughts.
Because I've got the Catholicism keys. I've met the steps other than, all of liking Catholicism.
I think it's going to be the Amish. Hold on. Back up for a second before you any hair trigger response, and tell me that doesn't make the most sense.
It doesn't make the most sense.
Why?
I would argue that they are the least likely, and I feel comfortable saying it because they aren't watching this show.
No, they haven't given into any worldly temptations.
Yeah, which is unwise.
Why?
Where do you draw the line? When were you just like, you know what? No more new technology? Because clearly they started that at a time where they were accepting some of it. They've got like wheels on tractors and other bullshit. They were able to take the wheel. They had 2,000 years of data, 1,900 years of data, whatever you want to say here. At some point in time, they drew a line in like 1940 and we're like, all right, we're starting here. But everything else before that was fine. What are we doing?
I don't know, dude. I think it's pretty pure. Other than the fact that, they're rumored to kidnap young children and bring them into the church in order to repopulate without too much incest. I mean, I think it's great. I would like to participate in Rumspringa.
Yeah, exactly. So would I. I would like to go through the part where you're not Amish.
That's my
point. What a terrible situation that must be.
That's my point. Like, they live a life that just can't be enjoyable. And they do.
No. I actually think their lives could be good. Like, I don't begrudge that life. I
think their lives are far less complicated, and there's a part of me that envies that. Just like less complicated life. You know what I mean? It's just
sure. Yeah, I get that.
You milk the cows.
But like at the same time, I don't think it's that bad of an idea to turn on the TV and be like, what's the weather for today? No. Like, that's going to be helpful information to you if you're out there plowing the fields and shit. Yeah. Oh, we could build the barn tomorrow when it's sunny.
I wouldn't come back from Rumspringa.
Dude, I'm barely coming back from my own life. And I didn't have to get away from anything that stunk.
I don't know. I mean, I don't think it's going to be the Mormons.
I mean, I don't think it's going to be anybody. This is like the Jokic captain thing. The most likely winner is nobody.
Morrison Davis super chatted and said, I'm Amish and this conversation is racist. That better be a joke, dude.
I mean, whether it was Amish or Mennonite, whatever was blocking me on my way to class so regularly when I was in college, I didn't like you guys.
Man,
I believe it's Mennonite, which is like an offshoot.
There's a lot we can do with this, but I'm going to hold off until our next NBA strategy show. Hey, appreciate you guys hanging out with us. As Brant said, Amish isn't a race. Yeah, he was trolling, dude. If he's Amish sending super chats, I don't think they're going to be very happy with that.
Unless he did it in Rammstein or whatever it's called.
Rumspringa.
Yeah, whatever.
Appreciate you guys being with us. As always, all the super chats, all the support. You guys are the greatest. We'll see you guys back here. When's the next game? Wednesday? Yeah, Wednesday. We'll see you back for strategy show, deeper dive, live before lock, all of that stuff on Wednesday. It's been fun. Have a great rest of the weekend watching this game. Follow Josh at Josh Engleman, me at Laffy_D, and we'll see you guys back here for the next one. Peace.